Welcome to Dr. Freedom, where we give you the strategies, mindset, and tactics on how to elevate your practice and your life. I'm Dr. Cesar Patel. I started my practice in a Starbucks over 7 years ago, and I built it brick by brick to a multi-location practice with an aesthetic OR and a software company. I'm here to give you the secrets to unlock that time and freedom for you. Growth mindset. So today's topic is growth mindset, and you've probably heard everybody talking about a fixed and growth mindset. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about growth mindset because my daughter decided that she would give me one of these little note cards and tell me what exactly growth mindset is. It's amazing, with her being 8 years old, of what she's been able to take in and define. And so I figured I would share that with you guys in terms of, growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. And I think first, let's define growth mindset. A growth mindset is where you kind of have to be open to continuing to grow. It's not something that we're static in our lives. When we're younger, we were growing all the time, right? Because of all the different experiences that we had, whether it be high school, college, if you went to any advanced degrees, if you went and started your first jobs, you started in this process where you're growing all this knowledge. You had this curiosity for all these different pieces, right? To improve yourself, to continue to grow and learn more about the world, culture, and all the other pieces. And that, I think, it gets all captured in that growth mindset. In terms of fixed mindset, that's when all that stopped. For some reason or another, you decided that, hey, I've stopped that period of time of learning. And I think for me, it personally came in as like after I got done with residency and training and all the other stuff, and I started in practice, I literally just stopped. I was like, I'd been burnt out. I'd been reading all these books and all this stuff to learn the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And I was just like, okay, I'm now fixed, right? I'm in this like fixed mindset. I'm just going to do these things because now I know everything I need to know, right? For this stuff. And I can clock in and clock out. I can go live my life with just what I know right now. There's no reason for me to explore or learn anything more in the other pieces of it. And I got in that rut for close to like 8 to 9 years, right? That I didn't read books anymore. Like I was like, well, and it was crazy to think about. It's like for 8 to 9 years, I just like went away from everything that I had done for the majority of my life to say, I was growth oriented and kept on learning more about people and different things. And I just got caught up into either being burnt out or looking at the world differently from a different lens to be okay with just saying, yeah, what I know is okay. Right. And so, this is now my daughter wrote this card and she left it on my desk this morning. And literally it was just like, okay, how does she define growth mindset for herself? And this is from an 8-year-old, and this is extremely, extremely special to me because this is not something I sat down with her about. This is literally something that she probably caught from a conversation or something that my wife and I had together to talk about all the different things that we have now are doing in terms of being in a growth mindset, right? Like my wife was a huge motivating factor for kicking the lights back on, for putting me back into a growth mindset to say, hey, when did we let this be okay? When did we settle? Right? Like that's such a huge question of asking yourself, through each stage and phase that you go through of like, all right, when did I settle with just coming home and watching TV or zoning out? What am I zoning out from? That's a deep question to say, okay, well, what am I zoning out from? What am I not willing to move forward with? What am I trying to avoid? What are all the other things that go with it? What are the interactions I don't want to have? What are events that I'm skipping? What all this stuff, right? That you're just like, oh, I was like, when did I start watching sports instead of playing them? Whoa, man. I was like, holy crap. Like, why did I stop? What made me stop? Was there, something in particular? But then it comes back down to like, hey, in this growth mindset stage in this phase, what are the things that allows you to do? And I'm just gonna go through each one of these things because she wrote, these 6 things that pretty much what define a growth mindset for her. And as an 8-year-old, right? The first one she says is, "I can do this." Just that's it. It's that simple. You know, I can do this. I can do this in terms of whatever you put your mind to, whatever you want to learn or be able to do, I can do this. I can grow. I have the ability. I'm not going to turn it off. I'm not going to dull my mind. I'm not going to do the things that will cause me to remain stagnant and static in terms of my interactions, my life. Who am I? Right? Who am I becoming in all this stuff? And that's the first basic foundation, saying, I can do this, right? To start having that self-talk on top of the interactions and the people we surround ourselves, that environment, right? That environment is massively important in terms of a growth mindset, because a lot of people will still see you as the old version that you were, right? Especially family and friends. When they saw you from years ago, they may say, well, this is who you are. They've defined you and they've closed that definition. It's a period at the end of the statement, at the end of that sentence. But that's not true. Every day we have the ability to say, I can do this. I can be more, right? I have the ability to learn more. I have the ability to adapt more or to apply it in a different way. And so it was just amazing to see that that's the first statement, to say, I can do this. Second statement, I can do anything. It's from an 8-year-old saying she can do anything. And I believe her, she can do anything. And that's the self-talk that we need to continue to have. The innocence of being a child and believing, and then being able to continue to believe as we get older. Not letting any of our experiences or anybody else's experiences affect what we believe we are capable of and the actual vision of what we see ourselves being able to do. I can do anything, right? That continues to foster a growth mindset at any age and stage. It doesn't matter if you're 20 years old or 50 years old, if you continue to believe that. I mean, I see 80-year-old people now running marathons. Tell me that's not I can do anything. That completely is a growth mindset to say it doesn't stop just because, other people say it has to. You can build your own journey. That's truly clear in all the different comparisons that you can do around the world and for yourself. Think about the different versions that you were. The version that you were as a child, the version that you were in high school, the version you were in college, the version you were after that, the version you are in a marriage, as a parent. It continues to change because you continue to grow, or you end up being fixed in a place where you may be trapped. Third statement, I am positive. Whew. Now, this is an interesting statement, right? What does positivity have to do with a growth mindset? Well, I was reading all these like parenting books, and there's a book called Positive Discipline, and it goes over why positivity is so important in our communication, in the style that we communicate, and in the discussions that we have. It sucks the energy out of you when you're negative. What does positivity do? Positivity, at a minimum, retains the energy, and if not, escalates it, right? You think about when you believe something positive, you are stronger. They've done the studies. They've done the things to say, if you say a positive statement versus a negative statement and you hold your arm out, if somebody can push it down or not, negativity automatically weakens you mentally and physically, because the body is controlled by the mind. Now, building the mind in terms of a growth mindset and saying, I am positive, will seed the entire atmosphere to say, okay, if I am positive, then yes, I can do anything. And I can do this, because you're going to continue to have that positive state of mind to do the next thing. You'll be able to create your own future with that positivity because you'll will it in that nature. You'll put your energy in that emotion into it.
All right, let's get to it. What does AdVital do for your aesthetic practice or med spa? Our current clients are making an extra $60,000 to $65,000 to their bottom line every month over month, because they're able to nurture their current patient base and also amplify their qualified leads. Now reach out to AdVital to learn more.
Her fourth statement is, I am courageous. Courageous. Now these words, that she picked up are profound for me as a parent, but in terms of being courageous, like what is her definition of courage, right? Is it the ability to speak up, speak out, to be who she is in her own skin, to be free of mind, speech, thought, action? That courageousness is the ability to not be confined by our surroundings. The courageousness is to build a better planet for interaction, for people, for each other, for impact, all these other pieces, right? You need to have courage. You think about a lot of the folks in terms of Mother Teresa, Gandhi, these people that they had to have courage. People tried to put them down. They tried to eliminate their thoughts, their minds, all these other pieces. And it took courage to fight back. It took relentlessness to get through each and every one of those things to make the impact that you want to. And that's the same thing in terms of being growth mindset. There could be days that you just don't feel it. You're like, I don't feel it today. I don't want. Well, you got to somehow find the courage to do it. Find the reason why, right? Why you can do this, why you can be positive, why I can do anything, why I can be courageous today, why today still matters more than yesterday. And it matters more because you have the ability to change what happens today. You don't have the ability to change what happened yesterday. That's the difference. Once you see that difference, you can change anything that you want in your future self and your future surroundings. All right, number 5, right? The I am awesome. And this is the encompassing piece of saying, hey, I can not only can I do this and I can do anything and I am positive and I am courageous, but now you start seeing that whole sense of self in the being, right? To say, I am awesome. Now, when you believe that, then you can do anything, right? You have that confidence. What does confidence do in terms of a growth mindset? It just provides energy, straight up energy to say, hey, I am awesome at this. This is my purpose. This is my vision. This is my drive. This is who I'm meant to be. This is how I'm meant to be. And that how is crucial to then say, okay, what are the next things that I can do with my awesomeness? Who else can I make awesome? What else can I put out in the world in terms of the emotions, the conversations, the impact to make a difference? Because I think a lot of the times when you get into a fixed mindset, you're fixed in that state. You're stuck within those boundaries, those walls, that environment that has defined you. And when you're fixed in that way, you have no option, no possibility to break out of it. You can't be the dream that you were when you thought you were a kid. You're like, oh, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a movie actress. I want to be in a play. I want to be a musician. I want other people to know what I'm feeling. That all that stuff has to come from that confidence of I am awesome, to then do those things, to actually step out on the ledge and actually put yourself out there. The last one, right, that she has on this little note card, right, in terms of a wealth of input and knowledge from a place of innocence, is I am brave. Now, some people say, okay, well, bravery goes with being courageous, and I can see how those things go together, and this and that part of it. But I think there's something more in terms of that brave comment, that word, right? I think she uses the word brave there because I think she understands that it's one thing to start, but it's another thing to finish. And it's one thing to be courageous and say, I'm courageous for a moment to step out on the ledge, that I am awesome and I am confident in what I am going to do and be. And then there's the next piece of it to say, I'm going to be brave to stand up to this and be consistent throughout the entire process to get the impact to actually happen. And then when that impact happens, that is what's going to define me to continue to grow to the next level, the next stage. It's a whole rinse and repeat of the same 6 tenets that she has here, right? To say, this is what's going to cause me to grow to the next level and to the next level. But this is my foundation. I have to believe. And this is where, the statement of be, do, have, right? And we talk about it all the time to say, oh yeah, a lot of people get stuck in I want to have more. I want to have more of this. I want to have this. I want to have that. And when you have those things, well, how do you get those, right? And you have to do more to get the haves, right? And everyone gets stuck in this do phase. But in this tenet, for this card, it's the be phase. It's I can be more when I stick to these things and I'm consistent about it. And I put that message out there to say, hey, listen, this is what I am being. I am growth mindset, and I'm going to continue to grow as a person. And that will continue to grow in terms of every facet of my life. And that means from my interactions with anybody that I come across with my family, with my friends, and my entire environment, right? To take it in and be able to be leaving it better than I came into it with. And that's the whole tenet to say, I'm going to be more by being in this growth mindset.
Thanks for listening to Dr. Freedom Podcast. I hope you found some value in this podcast, and if you could hit the subscribe button and share with a friend if you found this content valuable.